Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Deadpool and Wolverine figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at the battle damaged version of Deadpool, or as Hot Toys like to call it, the battling version. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Deadpool and Wolverine content goes live on the channel. I know what you're thinking. Really? Another Deadpool exclusive? How can they do this to us? The first one was hard enough to get, for crying out loud. Now we need to do it all over again. Don't freak out. Yes, they dropped a few hundred of these at the opening event for their new retail store in Hong Kong. They were ready to go on the shelf. But the rest of the batch is still on the way. So if you're patient and you missed out on the exclusive smaller batch, don't worry. There might be a chance later on for you to be able to grab this. As for the box art, loving the 3D glossy slash marks behind Deadpool. The bullet effects, the logo up top, his name down below. But isn't it best practice, if you're selling a battle damaged version of a piece, to have the image on the front of the box be representative of the figure inside it? This is Deadpool, but he's not battle damaged. He's a little bit dirty, but the scratches on his mask over the eye, they're not present. It's an odd choice not going with an image of battle-damaged Deadpool right up front. Either way, it says battling version down below, so there's no mistaking which Deadpool this is. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs. They're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. I feel like I'm underselling the claw marks. They're really neat, being able to feel the edges of them like Wolverine has actually slashed the front of this box. Then on the side of it, a grungy, dirty, rusty looking background, Deadpool's name, his arms spilling over the edge from the front cover, and some bullet casings down below. Around the back, more bullet casings, of course. This is Deadpool. Some bullet holes on the big Deadpool symbol behind the warnings, legal information, and Hot Toy store locations. I still think that a 1-to-1 scale version of the Best Friends necklace charm thing as a special edition bonus would have been a nice touch for either version of Deadpool, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. There's still more figures yet to be released or announced in this line, so there's time for them to add that in there. Underneath the slipcover, an open window showcasing Deadpool and all of his accessories inside. Ah yes, that's more like it. On the side of the box, some Deadpool doodles. And there's more of them on the back of the box. The rainbow, the unicorn. Why the heck not? It's Deadpool. Now this symbol that looks like his belt buckle. It's all metallic and rusty and scratched up. Cracked lenses, Wolverine's claws running through it. How sick would it be to have this as a diorama backdrop or a mini poster that we can display behind our Deadpool and Wolverine figures? I'm tempted to scan the back of the box and do that myself. For once, they actually made a really clever marketing decision when they were first teasing this piece. They sent the prototype to Ryan Reynolds himself. He then posted about it on his socials, and that was our first look at battle damaged Deadpool. The actor who plays Deadpool posting about an upcoming figure of Deadpool, it just makes sense. I would like to see them doing stuff like that in the future, honestly. First in-hand impressions for him. I'm hoping they fix the ankles, but the suit looks absolutely filthy. Perfect for battle damage Deadpool. what we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. That is a lot of stuff. I don't want to be here all day, neither do you, I would assume, so I'll try and move relatively quickly. Starting off with the display base first. Mini compact diorama base, well, compact-ish. The portal is large, but we'll come back to it. Sculpted brown plastic for the bottom part with all this dirt texture to it. Speckling of white paint over the top to look like snow. And some glossy red blood splatter. It's darker in the crevices, and there's some blood splatter around the back behind the portal. It looks quite real, actually, as light bounces off the surface. The crotch grabber is height adjustable, and if you remove it, check this out, I've never actually seen them do this. They've given you a mini piece of sculpted plastic wood with some speckling of white paint on it, so that looks snowy. You can plug into the port for the crotch grabber. Now there's not a big ugly hole on the top of the display base. Then there's another larger piece of wood that's well sculpted and painted with snow on it as well. I don't know if I'm going to display the large one, but the smaller one, I reckon I'm going to rock it. Now the portal. This is not clamshell plastic. It's thick, heavy-duty, frosted, airbrushed perspex. And if you remove this back panel on the display base, plugging in a non-included USB-C cable, this one is made by Fusion Reactors, linked to their Insta in the description, it lights up so freaking nicely. Because they've frosted it, it acts as like diffusion, and light transfers all the way through to the top of it. It's not perfect. Yes, I would like LEDs running around the perimeter like the Fusion Reactors portal, but it is a significant upgrade versus what they gave us with TVA Loki. Remember that one? It was literally garbage. Clamshell plastic. That stuff usually gets recycled, not displayed behind figures. I'm tempted to pick up another one of these portals and give it to TVA Loki or Sylvie. Well, Logan is looking incredibly deceased. Quite shiny though. That chrome paint app is extremely reflective. And the skull has an articulated jaw. There's a ball joint at the base of it. Plus the spinal column, probably spotted those breathy holes I would imagine, is wired. So you can pose it. It's a thick, heavy-duty rubbery plastic, so it's not the most flexible thing in the world, but you can get enough range out of it so it can hang naturally when Deadpool is holding it. These are his legs, right? I think they are. Hip joints up top, then we've got what would be his kneecap on this gross, sinewy bit of muscle that's brown and decayed connecting these two bones. These are sculpted plastic, but they're shiny enough that they look like metal. There's speckling over the top in brown so that they come across rusty or dirty or grimy. And this middle bit is wired. So you can use Logan's legs as nunchucks, just like Deadpool does in the film. They've clearly mastered chrome paint apps on plastic. I mean, remember when we got Beskar Mando, that flat, dull grey? Now they've figured out how to do chrome, and yeah, there's no going back. These ones are interesting. I like the look of them, the more rounded traditional bone, and the spiky one. But a customizer known as Sixth Hero on Instagram, Riley Lowe, he made a custom set of Logan bones and Wolverine claws meant for your clean Deadpool. He released it a while ago now, and he included a spiky bone like this because no bone in the human body looks like this. So he would know immediately if someone copied his design. And what do you know, Hot Toys included a spiky bone in this set. Am I saying they copied him? Not sure if that's the case. This was probably in R&D for a while, but it's definitely a possibility. These bad boys right here, they're what most of the fuss is about. And it's crazy to say that because there's so much other stuff in this set. So much great stuff, some scene-specific accessories, but come on. The Wolverine claws? How can you not display Deadpool with these? The gauntlets? Separate sculpted pieces made out of PVC plastic. I don't think they're going to dig into the suit over time, at least I hope they won't. The bones are just as shiny as all those other pieces. Then, the claws. Yes, they're sculpted plastic, but making them out of plastic, they were able to get the shape right. Finally, the flat bit up top and the tapered edge down below. Is it possible to make die-cast claws look as accurate as these ones? Yeah, probably, but I don't know if Hot Toys is capable of that. I'll show you what he looks like wearing these, and we'll try them out on clean Deadpool a little bit later. I know they didn't go into detail on the switch-out lenses when they announced this piece, but he does come with interchangeable eyes. The fully wide-open ones, very glossy white eyes in the middle there, and the more aggressive squinted eyes with this Wolverine claw slash mark on the left eye lens. Plus, you can use all of the eyes from the clean version with this one as well. And I'm just now realizing that I forgot to put the log back in frame. Whoops, let's pop it on the base. Oh, Hot Toys, what the heck took you so long? Finally, an unmasked Wade Wilson head sculpt, looking just as disgusting as it should, and a half-masked sculpt. I never thought we'd get both in the one set without one of them being locked behind a special edition paywall, but I'm not about to sit here and complain that this happened. 3 head sculpts in total with this set. You have to transfer the skin tone neck between these two heads, so unfortunately you can't use them both at the same time, but I'm very curious to see what they look like on the body and to find out if this one is compatible with the previous Hot Toys Deadpool releases. When it comes to weapons, the usual suspects. His katanas in their sheaths, this attaches to his back with a magnet. There's weathering front and back on this piece. You can remove the swords. They're made of sculpted plastic, but the paint apps, they're shiny enough. They look like they could be made of die-cast or adamantium. Gunmetal for the front part of the blade, gold towards the back, metallic blue for the crossguard and this bottom piece. Then, for those of you who let me know that these are the Golden Girl's initials on the bottom of his swords, thank you. That is such a Ryan Reynolds thing to do. They've even weathered the handle on Baby Knife. There's some subtle grey speckling on it. There's a lot of texture, metallic silver for the blade, and serrated sections on either side. This does store on his outfit. I'll show you where it goes. Then, the Deagles. Would I have liked the gold ones as well? Yeah, absolutely. Given at the end of the movie when he was all battle damaged, he grabbed them off a deceased nice pool, would have been a great display option. But most of the movie he spent with the black Desert Eagle, so I'm not mad they're included. The top slide goes back, exposing the painted bullet detail through the ejection port on the top of the magazine. Around the front, it says smile and wait for the flash, which is movie accurate, and that cannot have been easy to paint given how small it is. Removing the magazine, you can now see that bullet detail, and there's even a little red dot up top for the safety. And lastly, a full array of hands, ranging from the love heart gesture ones. Goofy as shit, but I could totally see myself using these with Deadpool. Gripping hands already installed on him right out of the box, and for those wondering if he can hold Baby Knife, well, yeah, he does. It's not a loose grip either, because the fingers are curled in the way they are. The Baby Knife locks in place, no problem. Metallic gold paint apps for the back hand armor, some grey dry brushing for weathering on the black sections, some speckling here and there, and a black wash on the inside of his palms. These are the trigger finger hands. Prying the grips open to pop the Desert Eagles in there, it's going to be easy as. 2 different pointing finger hands. For the right, 2 fingers. For the left, 1 with the thumb sticking out. Some style pose hands, fingers splayed out on the right, but fingers more together on the left. And a thumbs up hand for the right, plus an okay gesture for the left, or you could use it for something else. What we're going to do now is get Deadpool himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or anything like that. Notice how I didn't say accessories though? Because dude has a shitload of accessories on him. Katanas on his back, pistols in their holsters, and baby knife in its sheath. With him fully set up. This Deadpool might just be their best attempt at Wade Wilson in 1/6 scale yet. And I know I said that about the last one, but that goes to show that they're continuously improving. They took everything they excelled at with the clean version and elevated it to that next level. More surface detail on the outfit. We've got the cuts and scrapes and scratches and gashes through the fabric suit exposing the body underneath, which isn't perfect, but we'll get into that. More accessories, more scene-specific accessories. Dogpool and Babypool, they're both nice to have, but come on, Wolverine claws and Logan skeleton, plus the TVA light-up portal, as a package, as a complete set. I think this Deadpool is going to be very hard to beat versus the clean one. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Deadpool's masked head sculpt, the first of 3 head sculpts. This is a stacked release, and they've given us some stuff in terms of the sculpts that we've been asking for years, but this masked one is reuse from the clean Deadpool. However, the paint applications are different. There's weathering all over it, some Wolverine scratches on the mask and on that black bit for the eye right there, black speckling, black washes, and the red color, the base color, is a lot darker. Now, some people speculated that because they didn't mention he comes with switch-out lenses when they announced him, that he doesn't have them. But I'm pleased to report he does. You don't have to use the ones that came with your original Deadpool, you get some fully wide open lenses in the box. In fact, he comes packaged wearing these. Not my favorite, I prefer the neutral ones, but with the eyes being as wide open and glossy as they are, they definitely pop. It may be reused now, but not that long ago, this head was a brand new sculpt that we got for the first time with the clean version of Deadpool from this line. The fidelity of the texture, the wrinkling, the seam lines, the little dongle up top, extremely sharp. And the biggest improvement with this masked head sculpt over Deadpool's 1 and 2, the split cut under the chin. From the side, it's a little bit unsightly, but what it allows you to do for articulation, so worth the trade-off in my opinion. And before you ask, yes, I'll show it to you. These lenses are from the regular Deadpool figure. You can pop them in, no problem. And interestingly enough, the white parts for the eyes have been toned down with the battle damage version. I reckon it's time to move on to one of the other head sculpts now. Oh, it's so freaking sick. The half-masked head sculpt. I'm tempted to display him exactly like this, as though he's peeling the mask off. If only the outfit wouldn't get damaged in a pose like this. The sculpted bottom part for the mask genuinely looks like it's wrinkled up fabric sitting on top of his nose. There's some real depth underneath it. Then the skin texture looks all kinds of nasty. And the mask is brighter on the underside where it's folded up on itself, because all of the grossness would be on the outside of the mask, only a little bit of grossness on the inside. How about the fully unmasked head sculpt though? It's about fucking time. What took them so long? Why now are we getting an unmasked Deadpool head sculpt? I don't want to sound ungrateful, but Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, Dusty Deadpool, Deadpool and Wolverine, 4 figures. And only now are we just getting an unmasked head sculpt. But is it good? No. It is glorious. This is what we've all been waiting for. If they'd have given us an unmasked Wade head previously, it wouldn't have had moving eyes, and it probably wouldn't have had a split cut design for maximum range of motion underneath the chin. Now that we've got it, am I going to display one of my Deadpool figures wearing it? Oh, you can bet I am. And yes, that means it is compatible with the previous Hot Toys Deadpool figures. I'll show you in the pros and cons segment. The detail is just gruesome. The cauliflower ear, the burnt looking skin with the pock marks and the darker wash in those crevices that extends down to the neck inside the suit, the vein work, then the expression, the frown lines up top, the furrowed brow. Because this eye is more open than the other, I'm curious to see what some side eye does for this head sculpt. Because, yes, not only do we have an unmasked Wade Wilson head sculpt finally, but icing on the cake, it's got moving eyes as well. Oh man, I think I'm in love with this head sculpt. I thought I wouldn't rock it on this figure because he's got the half-masked head sculpt and that's so unique, but now that I'm seeing it on the body with some side-eye and head tilt, 4 cheeky Deadpool poses, this head sculpt is going to work perfectly. I'm struggling to pick which eye position I like best and what angle I prefer with the head sculpt. It's so versatile. This expression seems like it would be a one-trick pony until you start to move the eyes around. See what I mean? Check this out. Eyes looking down. I always struggle to get this to look good, but this head sculpt is doing all of the heavy lifting for me. Yes, there's a bit of a step down at the base of the head to the neck right there, but from most angles, it's not even going to be visible. So long story short, eyes back to their straightforward position. Was this head sculpt worth the wait after so many years, so many releases? For me, yeah, absolutely. Seeing as though the body choice, the material they went with for the outfit, the pattern for the suit, the construction of it, is largely exactly the same as clean Deadpool, we don't have to spend overly long talking about that stuff. Instead, we can focus on the battle damage and, of course, all of the paint applications and the switch-out pieces. The sheaths for his swords magnetically attaches to his back, and you can remove the swords from them. Be careful with the katanas. One of mine on the original Deadpool snapped at the hilt because don't forget, these katanas, the blades, they're made of plastic now. If you find that this buckle is getting in the way of the sheaths, you can move this piece off to one side, which is what I did, making way for the bit that attaches to his back with the magnet. And around the front, it was sitting over these 2 horizontal straps. That is not accurate, so I simply moved it off to the side, and now this pad is sitting over the top of the shoulder pad. And it reveals this gash that was hidden underneath it. Let's talk about the gashes. The way they handled them is interesting. You see, I would have thought that they would be screen printed on the surface, but no. These are actual holes in the suit. They've sealed the edges so they're not going to crack or tear or get any worse, so that's a good thing. But underneath the outer suit is a bare plastic black base body. And that is what's poking through the outfit. Why didn't they paint some skin tone and then some blood over the top of that underneath the suit? Not sure. But for right now, you can see the sheen on that base body, and I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not a deal breaker for me, and I'd prefer there to be depth to those holes versus them just being a surface coating. But there's still room for improvement if they do something like this in the future with more Deadpool figures. Now, the collar material is different versus the first release. There's way more texture on it. It looks singed and burnt almost. And there's some speckling of grey paint on this pad on the strap and on other bits of his outfit, including the shoulder pads, so that they look dirty and grimy. You could argue that the grey might be snow, but I'm leaning towards soot or just some general dustiness from the void. That's how I see it. The red sections of the outfit, there's airbrush shading and speckling, but they've used it strategically on the high traffic areas, like his elbow pads, his booty, on his knee pads. They are absolutely filthy. And they're attached to the suit permanently, so you don't have to worry about them peeling off on you. This is not a Deadpool 1 situation. There's separate sculpted pieces of plastic, but I've not had any issues with my other release. His belt is adjustable. I like to bring it down as far as it will go. Just make sure you're covering up the seam from the shirt where it sits over the pants. Otherwise, you're going to see this unsightly line right there. The reason why I like to push it down is it showcases the V taper down to his waist. There's a black wash on the sculpted leather-looking pouches, leather grain texture on there, weathering on the gold bits, and that goes for the entire suit, including these teeny tiny little pieces for these horizontal straps on his torso. Okay, what? This I wasn't expecting. His wrist pegs are weathered. I have never seen them paint wrist pegs before. This is a first for me. So if these gauntlet strap pieces ride up and you see a little bit of wrist peg, yes, it's not ideal, but they're painted. I like that they made these pieces separate, unlike with Deadpool's 1 and 2, so that you can move them around and get a little bit more range out of the wrists. Sculpted plastic holsters, so much texture on them, and they're functional. There's even weathering on the inside of the holsters. If you happen to get the special edition version of the other Deadpool and you got yourself some gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle pistoleros, yes, you can pop them in the battle damage version's holsters, the way it should be. It's an asymmetrical design too. We've got these ammo pouches on the left thigh, but not the right, and these straps, they are adjustable. They look like pleather to me, but they could be some other kind of synthetic, hopefully something more durable. Coming down to his boot guards, baby knife. Yes, removable, and when you push it all the way in, it locks in place quite securely. The boot guards themselves, heavily weathered with some black speckling. The boots, split cut design, we'll discuss the ankle joints later on, weathering on them, sculpted tread, with a white dry brush over the top. That's to go along with his snow-themed base. But before we can move on, you know what we have to do now. I've been waiting to try it. Install the Wolverine claws. That right there is peak. I'm not going to use these claws on battle damage Deadpool because they're from the start of the movie, and while he did have some battle damage on him, wasn't this extensive. It's good to know that you can use the claws on either Deadpool. To install them, remove the black plastic gauntlet pieces once you've taken off the hands, slide these bone bits on his forearms, then put the black pieces back on the underside. That locks them in place. Then you can plug the hands in. You still have full range at the wrists, but now Deadpool is rocking some beastly Wolverine claws. This is too cool of a display option not to use on at least one of the Deadpool figures. Let me know down in the comments below, do you like the claws, would you use them, or would you pop them back in the box? I thought I'd just sneak this in. Clean Deadpool with the Wolverine claws on, they attach in the exact same way, and while the hands are darker than the suit, that doesn't bother me. I dig the way this looks. Deadpool v Deadpool. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I would love to make the you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about joke, but it doesn't apply here. If you are after Deadpool, you can't go wrong with either one of them. Same body, same proportions. The battle-damaged one comes with that unmasked head sculpt. That's going to be a draw for a lot of people, but then you get the gold Desert Eagles with the clean one and Dogpool. In a perfect world, you'd have both. Trying to pick between them, it's going to be tough. I'll try and make this easier for you. If you want an updated Deadpool, better articulation, much nicer proportions, but in a similar color palette to Deadpool 2 with some extra gold bits, more accessories, and battle damage, get the battling version. If you like the brighter color palette, You don't care for the unmasked head sculpt, or the TVA portal, or the Wolverine claws, or the half-masked head sculpt, or the battle damage, then the clean one is probably your best bet. Next to Deadpool from the second film, similar height, but the new figure looks way better to me. But he doesn't work as well with Ladypool. Her outfit is way brighter next to his. I would pair her up with the clean Deadpool and pop this Wade next to Battle Damage Wolverine, who isn't out yet. So here's Days of Future Past Wolverine, who used to be my favourite Hot Toys Logan. He's taller than Deadpool, but only by a smidge. Going over articulation, even though it's going to be the same as normal Deadpool, let's do it anyway, just for the sake of completeness. Starting off with Wade's head sculpt. Ball joint at the base of the neck, double ball peg underneath the head. It's a split cut design for maximum range, looking forward to there, looking up to there, plenty for dynamic poses, then swivel and tons of pivot side to side. His arms will go up to there. You can tuck his shoulder pads underneath this red vest if you need to, going almost completely flush down by his sides. Forward and back, there's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going the full way. Then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. His torso goes forward to there, springs back a touch, going back to there, but the swords do get in the way. Swivel and pivot side to side. His legs will go forward to there and hold comfortably. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Soft ratchets at the knee, double bend going past 90, way past 90. Then hinges and swivels for his ankles, plugged into the foot at an angle, good for forward and back rotation, as well as some ankle tilt. These joints are notoriously fragile, so please be careful when you're moving his feet. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. The holes in his suit are actual holes. That's a nice touch, so there's depth behind them. But what's poking through is the bare, unpainted, glossy, black body. Surely they could have slid an insert underneath those holes with some detail on it, some skin texture and some blood even. I'm curious to hear what you'll think about that. The second annoying thing, this is going to ruffle so many feathers. A lot of collectors had broken Deadpool ankle joints right out of the box with the first release. What did they do to fix it with this one? Simple. Same exact joint, but now it's made out of translucent plastic. Clear plastic. A material that's known to be brittle. It cracks. It wears down very quickly. They've used it for a functional joint with a screw running through it. I'm hoping it stands the test of time, but I'm not confident. The third annoying thing, Wolverine's claws, they're not die-cast. These are plastic. They're well painted. The weathering looks good, but making them out of metal would have been my preference. The first cool thing, it's taken them a while, but we finally have an official, unmasked Wade Wilson head sculpt. And as you can see, it's 100% compatible with the Deadpool 2 body, so if you've got this one or the Dusty version, it'll work on either. When they announced him, they didn't specifically mention the switch-out magnetic lenses, so people assumed he didn't have them. That his stock set of lenses were fixed in place on the head sculpt. But the second cool thing is not only do we get a switch-out pair with the battle damage on them, but all of the lenses from the first release are also compatible with this one. The third cool thing is the well sculpted and painted and detailed diorama base, with the light up TVA portal on the back of it. And this is not clamshell plastic, it's properly sculpted and frosted so light carries all the way through to the top of it. This diorama base might just be worth the price of admission alone. Okay, you've heard me rant and rave the entire video about how good this piece is. Wrapping up on Hot Toys battling Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine. This feels like one of those figures that we don't see the likes of very often. It is a complete package. 3 head sculpts, one of which we've been asking for years, the unmasked head sculpt, and it's compatible with their previous Deadpool releases. You get Logan's bones, so you can recreate that brilliant opening scene, a light up TVA portal that you could give to TVA Loki if you wanted, the claws that I'll be rocking on my clean Deadpool, and his usual array of weaponry, katanas, baby knife, and the deagles. Do I wish they also gave us the gold ones from the first release? Yeah, I do. But they were the special edition bonus, so I understand why they didn't do that. If you are trying to pick between the 2 releases, I would sit down and strongly consider the battling version, because there's more surface detail with the outfit, and I mean, come on, it's Deadpool. He's always looking dirty and grimy and battle damaged, and his outfit has got holes in it and it's taped up, and this just suits his vibe. Not putting down the clean one, it's still one of my all-time favorite Hot Toys Deadpool figures. But taking the number 1 spot for me now is the battling version. Not just because of the accessories, but the suit itself. There is so much to look at on the surface. So at the end of this, if you can get your hands on battling Deadpool, do it. I find it very unlikely that you're going to regret it. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.